Life teaches us that as we grow older, maintaining friendships isn't as simple as it used to be. Over time, loneliness can start to creep in because friendships become more complicated, sometimes even accompanied by unexpected shocks. And what are these shocks? They're those moments when you feel betrayed or hurt by the very people you once considered your closest friends. At some point in our lives, we've all likely experienced the pain of being let down by a trusted friend. That pain doesn't just shatter trust. It leaves behind emotional scars that are hard to heal. But one thing I want to emphasize is this: life isn't solely about betrayal or incomplete relationships. There are still plenty of good people out there, and building meaningful and rewarding friendships is absolutely possible. The key is learning to recognize who your true friends are, who's genuinely trustworthy, and who you should steer clear of. This isn't easy. It requires sensitivity, time, and experience to differentiate between the right and wrong people. But once you develop the ability to carefully choose your friends, you'll find your life becoming lighter, less painful, and filled with positivity that comes from genuine relationships. Today, I want to share with you 3 types of friends you should avoid to protect your mental health and maintain a fulfilling, happy life. Don't forget to hit subscribe to stay updated with more insights that can help you create a meaningful and joyful life. First type, the friend who delights in others' misfortunes. Now, let's dive into today's topic. Here's the first sign of a friend you might want to steer clear of. Take some time to observe. In your work environment, friend circles, or even just acquaintances, pay close attention to how people react to the difficulties or failures of others. Observation is key to understanding a person's true nature. If you notice someone who often seems pleased or even smug when others face challenges or setbacks, it reveals a lack of compassion and is a clear sign they're not trustworthy. Don't think of observing as difficult. Facial expressions, small changes in body language, or tone of voice can tell you a lot. Genuine feelings are hard to hide, and they often naturally reveal themselves on someone's face. Also, pay attention to their tone when they talk about someone else's tough times or failures. If there's a hint of excitement or satisfaction, and if they repeatedly bring up these stories, they might secretly enjoy seeing others struggle. And folks, this is a glaring sign of malice. I want to stress the term many times. If this reaction is just a one-time thing, it may not be a big deal, but when it happens over and over again, it becomes a more serious issue. It might be subtle phrases like, "Did you hear she got divorced?" Or, "He just lost his job." But if it's said with even the slightest hidden excitement, it shows a lack of empathy. So, why would anyone take pleasure in someone else's failure? It's often a sign of a troubled soul, someone who could easily betray others. Trusting these kinds of people with your secrets or hopes is risky. And here's an important lesson: don't let unexpected shocks like these shatter your trust. Lastly, I'm not suggesting you immediately cut off these relationships. Instead, maintain a cordial but cautious distance, keeping your expectations low. Careful observation will help you see who's genuine and who's unreliable. And sometimes, you'll notice that people with previous toxic traits do change over time and become better. Likewise, there are people who used to be trustworthy but have gradually changed for the worse. That's why observing and evaluating are things you should do regularly. But remember, just because someone has done something bad once doesn't mean they're a bad person forever. However, those who repeatedly find satisfaction in others' failures are truly people you can't rely on in your life. Second type, the friend who can't keep a secret. I mentioned the first type of friend, those who take satisfaction in seeing others fail. Now, let's talk about the second type, someone equally risky to trust, those who can't keep anything to themselves and love to reveal others' secrets. When you share something personal with a friend, you hope they'll respect and keep it confidential. But sadly, not everyone can do this. People who enjoy spreading others' private matters not only break trust, but can easily create serious misunderstandings in your relationships. Before going deeper, I want you to understand that being mindful of others' behaviors and attitudes isn't overly practical or calculating. It's about protecting our peace of mind and our trust. Imagine this situation. Let's say you work at a charity organization with 2 close friends, Sarah and Emily. One evening, Sarah has a private conversation with you, mentioning that Tom, another colleague, is going through financial struggles because he's supporting a sick family member. Sarah says gently, "This is pretty private, so please don't tell anyone." Tom seems really stressed. However, unable to keep the secret, you casually share the story with another friend the next day. You say, "Did you know Tom is really having money problems? Keep it to yourself, but I heard his family needs a lot of support." This news quickly spreads throughout the company, and before long, it reaches Tom. To him, it feels like a betrayal from those he once trusted. With people who like to spill secrets, you'll find they can never keep things under wraps for long. Phrases like, "Hey, have you heard about this? But don't tell anyone. I'm only telling you," come up frequently in their conversations. This is concerning because when they can't keep others' matters private, they won't protect your story either. And when you trust them with your secrets, what guarantees that they won't turn it into gossip with someone else? Such people don't just damage your trust, they can cause heartache and strain friendships. Like Tom, when private stories are spread without permission, the person involved may feel embarrassed, angry, and deeply disappointed. This behavior is not only disloyal, but also shows a lack of respect for others' feelings. When you recognize that a friend has a habit of sharing others' private information, it's wise to think twice before sharing anything with them. Protecting your trust and privacy is essential. Otherwise, you risk becoming the next subject in their conversations with others. Remember, real friendship is based on respect and trust. A conversation between two people should be just that, a private space meant only for them. And no one has the right to turn it into the topic of outside discussions. That's the foundation of genuine friendship. Third type, the friend who only takes and never gives. Let's move to the last type on this list, those who are never truly willing to give in friendship. We've all heard about the principle of reciprocity in relationships. That giving without expecting anything in return is right and admirable. But there are also people who only want to take and have no intention of giving back. And this type of person can easily leave you feeling exhausted and disappointed. Have you ever had a friend who constantly asks for your help, but when you need them, even just once, they dodge or reluctantly show up? This one-sided friendship isn't balanced or healthy. A relationship can't last if kindness flows only one way. Placing your trust in friends like this is like putting your own feelings through unnecessary strain. I understand that you may be someone who's kind-hearted and always willing to give without expecting anything in return. If that brings you joy, keep doing it, as there's nothing wrong with that. But if you feel frustrated when the other person doesn't reciprocate or even ignores your support, it's a sign to reevaluate this relationship. Sometimes, even a gentle suggestion can lead them to react defensively or negatively. In such cases, letting go of expectations might be the wiser choice to protect your own peace of mind. Lowering your expectations can help you feel less hurt if the relationship doesn't develop as you'd hoped. When you no longer expect them to change, feelings of rejection or betrayal will lessen, and you'll feel more at ease. As I mentioned earlier, you don't need many friends, just a few good ones are enough. When you focus on quality relationships, you'll feel much happier than if you spend time with people who only know how to take without ever wanting to give back. There's a philosophical saying I love: better to be thirsty with no drink than to find a poisoned water source. In other words, having no friends is sometimes better than having friends who aren't good for you. Of course, none of us has to live completely without relationships. There's always at least one good friend, one kind person willing to be by your side. Take the time to build relationships with these people, those who naturally have a kind heart. So, we've covered 3 types of friends who might not be right to place your trust, hopes, and secrets in. This doesn't mean we're judging or completely cutting them out of our lives. But understanding these types of friends will help us build a more balanced and happier life. Before we wrap up this section, I want to clarify a few important points to keep in mind when applying this knowledge in your life. Always keep a positive mindset and don't let negativity cloud your vision. The first thing to remember is that the principles we discussed today are best suited for friendships, not family relationships. Family is a different, much more complex category, and family bonds come with a depth that friendships often don't have. That kind of connection requires a different approach and understanding. Remember this because family is where we need to practice more patience and forgiveness. The second point is that while we may look to identify people who aren't suitable friends, this doesn't mean we should view ourselves as superior or judge others with an arrogant attitude. My goal isn't to encourage you to pass judgment, but to help you recognize behaviors and protect your own peace. In the end, we all need to work on becoming trustworthy ourselves because, as the famous saying goes, good people attract good people. Ask yourself, what kind of person do you want to be? Kindness and sincerity naturally draw people with those same qualities. If we spend time working on ourselves, shedding negative traits, and nurturing our goodness, we'll find ourselves deserving of genuine, valuable friends in life. The 3 types of people I just shared are examples to encourage you to reflect on yourself and make adjustments if necessary. It's part of the journey toward becoming a better version of yourself. To be worthy of healthy, genuine relationships, keep these reminders close as you walk through life. But avoiding the wrong types of friends is only half the journey. To truly build meaningful, lasting friendships, we need to know how to recognize the positive qualities in people who are worth having by our side. Connecting with trustworthy people not only brings warmth to life, but also a sense of peace and faith in good relationships. Once, someone asked the legendary investor Warren Buffett, "What do you think is the most important quality in a person? Intelligence, kindness, communication skills, or workability?" He answered simply, "Trustworthiness." And it's true. Trustworthy people not only keep their promises, but also serve as a strong source of encouragement to keep us moving forward. Having a reliable friend by your side is a true blessing. So, how do you know if a friend is worthy of your trust? Let's look at 7 signs. 1. Not driven by small gains. Trustworthy people don't obsess over small, selfish gains and value relationships over personal benefits. You'll notice that genuine friends are always willing to share and aren't penny pinchers. In contrast, some people, whenever they go out to eat with friends, always borrow money or leave the bill to others, gradually forgetting about it and having no intention to pay it back. Eventually, no one wants to invite them out anymore. As one writer put it, if you take from others too soon, you'll end up giving back twice as much. In Buddhism, this is called karma. In statistics, it's known as mean reversion. In the stock market, they call it profits and losses. And in street slang, it's said that sooner or later, you'll have to pay up. People who are obsessed with small gains might enjoy a bit of short-term benefit, but over time, they lose others' trust, and no one wants to stay friends with them anymore. 2. Don't talk behind your back. A truly trustworthy person won't engage in gossip about others behind their backs. Trust is built on mutual respect and protection, so a valuable friend will always safeguard your reputation, whether you're present or not. There's a saying, if you tell a secret to the wind, don't blame the wind for carrying it to the whole forest. Talking behind someone's back not only breaks trust, but can turn close friends into strangers. A trustworthy friend will protect the friendship by steering clear of negative conversations, understanding that a small comment can lead to big misunderstandings, and ultimately, they themselves could become a target of gossip. 3. Punctuality. Being punctual shows respect and responsibility, which are key indicators of trustworthiness. A reliable person not only arrives on time, but also keeps their promises no matter the situation, showing they value your time and are committed to the relationship. When someone is consistently on time, you can trust they're dependable and won't leave you waiting in uncertainty or doubt. On the other hand, a person who frequently leaves you waiting may show a lack of responsibility and commitment, which can lead to disappointment. They may not be someone you want to rely on in a lasting relationship. 4. Actions speak louder than words. A trustworthy person lets their actions speak louder than their words. When you're going through a tough time, they don't just offer advice, they actually step in to help. Those who do more than they say don't need to boast because they understand the value of sincerity and effort. Their reliability shines through their actions, making them someone you can lean on in times of need, as their words are always backed by real deeds. In contrast, people who talk big but do little can make others feel let down and exhausted. Humility and sincerity help a trustworthy friend leave a positive, warm impression on others. 5. Emotional stability. A stable person knows how to control their emotions. A reliable friend doesn't easily lose their temper. They remain calm under pressure, bringing a sense of peace to those around them. They don't let fleeting emotions harm their friendships or damage relationships. On the flip side, people who frequently get angry or overreact to small things often struggle to maintain long-term connections. When friends know how to manage their emotions, you can lean on them as a reliable source of comfort and support. 6. Courage to admit faults. A trustworthy person has the courage to admit when they're wrong and take steps to make things right. When they make a mistake, they don't blame others or the circumstances. They face their own responsibility. Owning up to mistakes not only shows honesty, but also reflects respect for friends. A friend who's willing to admit faults and make amends will help you feel secure in the relationship. Meanwhile, someone who's dishonest and constantly avoids responsibility is rarely trustworthy and can easily lose others' confidence. A genuine friendship needs openness and accountability. 7. Problem-solving ability. A trustworthy friend isn't just kind-hearted. They also know how to solve problems when needed. They don't shy away in tough situations. Instead, they face challenges head-on and seek solutions. People with problem-solving skills know how to support friends in a genuine and effective way, helping you navigate challenges positively. In the journey of life filled with trials, finding a friend who is dependable, able to help, and skilled in problem-solving is a real blessing. They not only give you peace of mind, but also inspire you with the confidence and strength to keep moving forward. Dear friends, a true friendship is measured not only by moments of shared happiness, but also by the times spent overcoming challenges together, built on trust, loyalty, and mutual respect. Reflecting on these qualities doesn't just help us identify valuable friends, it also reminds us of the qualities necessary to build strong relationships. In history, the friendship between Jonathan and David stands as a symbol of loyalty and sacrifice. Their story in the Bible is a beautiful example of how true friendship can rise above all barriers, even family conflicts and power struggles. To close this video, let's dive into the story of Jonathan and David's friendship. The beginnings of a true friendship. David, who would later become the famous king of Israel, started his life as a humble shepherd. His bravery and skill were first showcased when he defeated Goliath, a giant warrior threatening the people of Israel. This victory not only brought David fame, but also won the admiration of Jonathan, the Prince of Israel. Jonathan saw in David not just a hero but a kindred spirit, and from that moment, a deep friendship began to form. Unlike others in the royal court, Jonathan, next in line to the throne, didn't feel threatened by David, even though David's abilities could potentially challenge his own position. Instead, Jonathan showed David genuine respect and friendship. He felt a unique bond with David, which quickly turned them into inseparable friends. A pledge of loyalty and responsibility. Yet, their close friendship stirred jealousy and fear in the heart of King Saul, Jonathan's father. Saul began to see David as a major threat to his throne and sought to eliminate him. When Jonathan discovered his father's plan, he was faced with a tough choice. Though he knew that protecting David would put him at risk, Jonathan chose loyalty to his friend. In an unforgettable moment, Jonathan vowed to protect David at all costs. Even if it means standing against my own family, I won't let you be harmed. Jonathan promised with conviction and loyalty. This wasn't a fleeting promise, but a deep commitment to their friendship, a loyalty that was rare and precious, free from conditions or self-interest. The ultimate sacrifice. As Saul's determination to kill David grew, Jonathan made the difficult decision to stand by his friend, even if it meant sacrificing his own right to the throne. Jonathan secretly warned David of his father's plans and arranged for his escape to keep him safe. Through this action, Jonathan showed that he was willing to give up his power and put his friendship above the future he was born to inherit. To further demonstrate his trust and respect, Jonathan gave David his armor and weapons, a symbolic gesture of loyalty and protection. By offering these valuable items, Jonathan made it clear that his friendship with David surpassed any ambition or status. Jonathan wasn't envious or reluctant. Instead, he saw his friend's safety and success as more important than anything else. Trials and unwavering loyalty. Although Jonathan and David's friendship was built on trust, it was repeatedly tested by Saul's schemes. Saul tried to persuade Jonathan to turn against David, even reprimanding and threatening his own son. Yet, Jonathan remained loyal to David. Despite his family's opposition to his best friend, Jonathan never betrayed David. The two friends made a vow to protect and care for each other's families. Jonathan pledged that if anything were to happen, he would treat David's family as his own, and in return, David swore to watch over Jonathan's descendants. They committed to preserving this bond regardless of the dangers. For to them, friendship was not just a connection but a lifelong commitment, a farewell and remembrance. Life didn't grant them much time to keep their vows. In a fierce battle, Jonathan lost his life, leaving an unfillable void in David's heart. Jonathan's passing was not just the loss of a friend, but the loss of a part of David's own soul. At Jonathan's funeral, David wept and spoke words filled with pain. "Your friendship to me was more precious than even romantic love. You are someone I will never forget." After ascending to the throne, David never forgot his promise to Jonathan. He searched for and protected Jonathan's only surviving son, Mephibosheth, and provided for him throughout his life as a way to honor his commitment to his dearest friend. David restored to Mephibosheth all the lands that had once belonged to Saul and Jonathan, and welcomed him into the royal palace, caring for him as a member of his own family. A lesson in true friendship. The story of Jonathan and David is an everlasting monument to friendship that surpasses all boundaries. Undeterred by status, power, or opposition, Jonathan was willing to give up his throne, stand against his father, and sacrifice everything to remain loyal to David. This story is not just about sacrifice, but about enduring commitment, compassion, and rare loyalty. In life, we all long for a friendship like Jonathan and David's, a bond we can trust and rely on through any circumstance. Perhaps through their story, we realize that a true friendship not only brings joy, but also helps us become better versions of ourselves. A real friend is one who stands beside us through all of life's ups and downs, giving us strength to face life's journey. May the story of Jonathan and David inspire us to cherish and seek out genuine, lasting friendships. May you always have trustworthy friends by your side, those who share in your happiness, lift you up when you need it, and walk with you through every challenge. Feel free to share in the comments below about the special friends in your life, or your own thoughts on friendship. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for your precious time, and goodbye.